ice cream, Arctic Circle, snow cones, hailstorm.
Is there a cold open?
Yep.
Oh God. Okay, 4 seasons and we've already run out of ideas, huh?
Have you ever wondered why women don't do more crime?
Well, we're here to tell you. There's misconduct all the time.
Women are thieves and murderers.
That's gross misconduct.
Con artists, money launderers.
Criminal misconduct.
Financial fraud that's hard to track.
Takes some planning, but still misconduct.
Even breaching a contract.
That's more civil though.
Misconduct. Misconduct. We tell you all about women that suck. Things that make you say, what the? It's misconduct.
Hello, and welcome to Misconduct. This is a podcast about female criminals and other women who kind of did bad things that may be criminal or just kind of really mean. I am Raghavi.
And I am Nisha. And this episode is our look back. So we're going to look back at season 3, give you some updates about all the women that we had covered. If you don't remember all of it, I suggest go back and listen to the entire season because this is unfair. You can't be at season 4 and be like, hey, I don't remember what you did in season. No. This is inexcusable.
But we're summarizing it in this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, go listen to the other episodes. I'm sorry. Please give us SEO, give us views and sounds and clicks and things.
Downloads and
the other one. Yeah, downloads.
So before we get started with the actual episode, I do want to shout out to someone. I'm sure our listeners may have noticed that the music in this season has kind of improved a little bit. Like I'm playing new chords. Playing new chords. The songs are kind of fun. There are harmonies and stuff. What's going on? Did Nisha just like take a course and become a No, I did not. One of my friends listened to a couple of our older season was like, do you not know any chord besides A minor, F and C, G? And I said, yes. So he has volunteered to do that for me. So shout out to Ruben. I know you didn't want me to say your name, but shut up, man. So
yeah, thanks Ruben. It's the thanks is all you get because you're not getting paid.
Yay.
And on that note, let's sort of jump into the episode. Before that, our usual disclaimers, guys. This is not a podcast that's meant for children. You should know this by now. Listener discretion is advised.
So our season opener for season 3 was Gangubai Kothewali. And we were kind of excited about this one because the movie had just come out. We were like, yay, let's use all of the promotion already. So if you don't know... If you haven't seen the movie or if you haven't heard of her, Gangubai was a woman who existed and thrived in the 1960s in Kamatipura area of Mumbai, which is essentially a red light district in the city. She is known to have been a sex worker and a madame of a brothel. The latter is still illegal.
There's also a Sanjay Leela Bhansali movie. That's the one that Nisha was talking about that apparently did really, really well, when the movie came out and also on Netflix and stuff. Throughout an episode, we, constantly talk about what also happened in the movie and something that Gangubai really worked hard for, which is to get the country to imagine sex workers as people with hopes, dreams, rights, agency, like real people things.
Which is really cool. However, she did this by carrying a giant stick called Kareem Lala. And then she also indulged in bootleg alcohol trading and just so many more crimes.
That's true. The unfortunate part of this whole story is that the primary source that we had, we don't consider the movie a source, is that, there's a chapter from a book by this man called Hussein Zaidi. This is basically potato. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So what did we miss?
So we missed the fact that Gangubai had made over 200 crore rupees worldwide. That's a lot of money during a pandemic. Let's remember that. And people raved about Alia Bhatt's performance. She played Gangubai. It was also the most watched movie in Netflix at the time.
Yeah, I know we crapped on the movie because we don't like Sanjay Leela Bhansali or Alia, but apparently a movie like that was kind of required. So Kiran Deshmukh, who is the president of the National Network of Sex Workers, he said, people believe what they see in Bollywood films. And this film has shown that sex work is work. And this work helps us live our lives and feed and raise our children, which is, we stand for that. Like that part we agree. So I guess Bollywood
happy to eat our words. That's just say it. Just say it. Say you're putting your foot in your mouth and you're happy to eat that foot. Say it.
That's that one. And it's my fault.
No, so he's right, because a lot of sex workers in Mumbai apparently did go to watch the movie, and they were quite inspired to take back the agency that they felt they had lost. Realistically, it is still very limited, both societally speaking as well as under legislation. But I do not want to, I want to acknowledge the fact that this movie tried and it made a mark, and that's really important.
On the absolute flip side of how much of a tone deaf idiot people can be, there was a restaurant in Karachi called Swings, and they used that scene, where Gangu is calling for people to come to her kothewali, like she's like calling out with her hand, and like she's dead inside. You can see her, and she's doing that to call people. And they used that tactic to promote their Men's Monday special. And then they decided that this is great fodder for their social media, and the internet just handed their ass to them. Like, my God. Even when they tried to apologize, it was like a fake apology. They were like, the movie did it, so why is it wrong for us? Like, come on, bruh.
I don't know why people just don't understand context as a concept. It's just not a thing, But something cute to wash your mouth with soap off of whatever that nonsense was. There is apparently a cat on the internet that is dressed as Alia Bhatt's Gangubai. And it's called Gangubai Kattiawadi.
No, that's so cute.
It's really, really adorable. I thought it was really, really cute. It made me angry how cute it was, and the fact that we didn't think about it, because we have literally, there are 2 cats that we could have used for this.
It's true. We could have.
We really could
maybe have confused them about their gender. Who cares?
That's fine. I don't think they care.
Yeah, I don't think they know.
Yeah.
Also, we got a comment under our YouTube thingy where you can listen to this episode.
Video.
It's from Ashley, Ashley Joppy. And she said, it's so frustrating. They said, it's so frustrating that despite taking place during modern times, there is so little written about her. Though I love the movie, I wish we knew more. Yes, you are preaching to the choir here. We know nothing. Source is potato.
Yeah, I feel like 80% of our episodes where we feel we don't have sources is just us saying, this is kind of it about this person, but where are the sources? It's pretty much entirely that is where I'm coming from. But that brings us to the end of the few updates that we have on Gangubai. We have our next woman, who was our second episode, was Neha Verma. So Neha Verma was a woman from Indore who in 2013 was convicted of killing 3 women from the same family, all in cold blood, all for money. So Neha, some warped, terrible version of Cruella Devil that she is. She had 2 lackeys with her, Rahul Chaudhary and Manoj Adot, who helped her through this set of events. The incident happened on 19 June 2011, and within a few days, all 3 were arrested. So kudos to the police for that. All because, one of the henchmen shot themselves in the foot and left DNA, blood evidence all over Indore after killing, these innocent people.
So at the time, Neha was referred to by the media as a criminal mastermind.
Sure.
And unfortunately, Neha also happened to be a pretty woman. So this was just something that the media focused on a lot, which we hate.
Yeah. That's true. Loads of femme fatale stuff, which was sickening, to say the least. Please don't sensationalize this. We beg you.
So this was one of those surprising episodes where Raghavi thought that she deserved the death row. And I was like, nah, I think it's fine. I mean, it's not that bad a crime. So I feel like it shows how much we've grown as people.
I guess so. But the thing is, so talking about the death sentence, right? Neha Verma and her cronies are still in prison, and they're trying to have their death sentence commuted. That's one part of it. And the thing is, while Nisha and I, obviously we don't want people to die without cause, right? We'd like the evidence to be absolutely crystal clear. We acknowledge the fact that the state can make mistakes sometimes, and giving back a life is not possible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I do want to say though, if I truly believed in the death sentence, which I don't really entirely, I would want Neha to be sentenced, because it was just that cold and vicious how it went down. It is what it is. But Neha Verma, apparently, as Trevor Phillips, one of the users on YouTube who let us know on our video, was that Neha Verma was apparently the basis of some part of Delhi Crime, which is a show. It's season 2, focused quite a bit on Neha Verma. That's what I understand.
Oh,
yeah. I had no idea. I haven't watched it.
Me neither. If anyone finds those episodes and find those references, please tell us.
Yeah, that's true. I actually would love to watch it just for that, because because I haven't watched Delhi Crime only because I kind of feel bad when a show is primarily in a particular language and I don't understand the colloquial aspects of it, and I have to just read it in English in the subtitles, and I feel kind of like it's like Gangs of Wasseypur all over again. I didn't really get it to its core. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean because I have not seen Gangs of Wasseypur.
Of course. Oh my God. I keep forgetting.
I love how this keeps coming up.
Yeah. You know what I mean, audience. Obviously, I'm not saying it to Nisha anymore because despite my optimism, she's turning out to be a terrible person to me. So,
you know who was a terrible person?
Aha, the next one.
Yes, the third episode that we did was on Kamalavalli. So she was the pioneer of South India's very own Ponzi scheme, which is very uniquely and creatively named Pazi.
I mean, it's hard. Names are hard. I understand.
In case you forgot what a Ponzi scheme is, it's a type of investment fraud that pays existing investors with funds collected from new investors. So you invest in nothing except for the concept of promising returns, which is kind of like the market. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's the dream that really counts. But in 2008, Kamalavalli, along with her business partners Mohan Raj Katiravan and Karu Katiravan, would set up a company called Pazi Forex Trading India Private Limited. Oh, that's a big name. They set this up in Tirupur, which is a small town in Tamil Nadu. And here are the numbers. They swindled over 490 crore rupees, or the equivalent of 4.3 billion rupees, from about 45,000 investors, mostly from the southern states of India.
So between 2009 and 2010, thousands of investors filed complaints with the police, consumer courts, even with the Madras High Court. Arrest warrants were issued and she is in jail. However, for a very brief period, Kamalavalli even managed to disappear by just bribing some of the officials.
So what did we miss in this episode? We didn't really miss this because it happened a little later. Kamalavalli and Mohan Raj got sentenced by a Coimbatore Criminal High Court to 27 years in prison and 171 crore collective fine. This was in August 2022. Yay! Justice exists kind of a little bit. Yeah. So this is apparently the strictest punishment seen for a financial crime in India so far, purely because of the volume of actual money that they swindled, because it's usually proportional to that, right? So the fines are spread out between Kamalavalli and Mohan Raj individually, but it also includes fines on the Ponzi schemes, which means Pazi Trading and all of its sister companies are also going to be fined.
So for the 490 that they swindled, they're paying a fine of 171 crore. That's it.
Oh, no. The fine is over and above giving back the money.
Over and
That's how fines
Sorry,
work.
I forgot how fines work.
No,
I keep doing that.
Nisha, otherwise it's just cost of doing business. Oh, the cost of doing my business is 171 crore rupees and I made 490. Come on.
I was like, wow, this works out. But yeah, this was such a big deal. Sorry, I had a long day at office, guys. It is such a big deal that the CBI itself issued a statement on the sentencing indicating that they are happy that the long drawn out case has finally reached a conclusion. So yay.
That's right. It may get appealed. It's very possible if they have good lawyers, they will likely appeal it to death. But for now, they're in jail and I guess there is some money coming out of it. So that's really good as well.
Awesome.
The next woman that we covered was Sarla Ben. There's not as much of a hectic criminal element to this, but it's still a very interesting story. Sarla Ben was known, her original name was Catherine Mary Hellman. She was an Englishwoman who fought for India in the independence movement. But more importantly, she's actually known as India's first environmentalist and basically the founder of the Chipko movement. Now, why did we cover her? Because for her time, the kind of disrupting sort of revolts, not even revolts, I guess, sit down dharnas that she did and the protesting that she did against the British Raj, all of these were considered crimes because you don't have to really be disrupting in a violent way back then to be able to be put into jail. You could just be like, oh, but I'm not sure about this law and the British will put you into jail. Exactly. So if you don't agree, with that kind of environmentalism, her brand of promoting sustainability, unfortunately, also counts kind of as eco-terrorism today. Which is terrible, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so she was just basically climate change makes me an Adhiga Prasnagi. And
but I would be mad too. I understand. I would be extremely bad. In fact, there are environmentalists out there, the actual eco-terrorists out there that straight up bomb pipeline. That's the thing. The thing is, I can't condone that kind of violence. But if they say things like, hey, this land belonged to Aboriginals or the First Nation people. And why are you running a pipeline through it? Because I can't grow my crops here. On some level, when they say things like that, you're like, oh shit, I have to keep my mouth shut now. You know?
But like, I mean, if they don't do that, how will I get my Amazon Prime packages in one day?
Exactly. How can I fuel up my car, which has the world's worst mileage, being an automatic being an automatic i10 from the 1940s or something?
Yes. Sarla Ben drove that car and now we have it. So what did we miss besides the fact that Raghavi now owns her car apparently? Literally. Nothing we missed. She died a very long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah, there's not much we can cover there. That's fair.
Indeed. Moving on to someone else who died a very long time ago. Wu Zetian, Emperor Wu Zetian. This is one of those episodes I really liked because like the fact that she is a blip in the illustrious Tang dynasty, that, you know, she's the woman. And then on top of all of that, she was just like, I'm a woman, but you're going to still have to call me emperor because
we didn't consider that when you were gendering our nouns.
Which was amazing. It's like, yeah, dude, I kind of want to be king. I get it.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool that the concept. It's pretty cool that the concept of an emperor just never had a female version of it. So she was just like,
I'll take it.
Me too.
So this was a Far East one. Just like we wanted to see what else was out there. She was China's only recorded female emperor, and she may have started out as a consort to Emperor Taizong, and then also became consort to his son. She went. Oh no, stepmom. Yes. But she went on to climb her way to the top spot from consort to actual emperor.
Yes, and that path involved murdering children, poisoning other consorts, corruption, kidnapping, casual executions, summary executions, false accusations of witchcraft. What else was there? Oh, puppet kings that she could just be like, yeah, you take care of administration, but it's actually me. Oh, yes, of course. Drowning people in wine. She did that also. So that was...
But how is that different from any emperor? Just say.
I get that, yeah. At least she didn't use one of those really hectic medieval torture methods that most male emperors do.
Yeah.
But let's acknowledge the fact that she was a very successful ruler for her time. And there are a bunch of measures she introduced for the Chinese people, including introducing the civil services exams, which ensured that people that weren't just in the aristocracy could be part of administration. She improved a lot of the agricultural practices, which meant, not just growing better crops and, things like silk and stuff, but also being able to transport it to other countries and having an actual trade line. Also, she maintained a real census for all of China, which wasn't a thing that was done particularly well before. And she fortified the country's borders really well. So why then is she vilified, you ask?
It is sexism.
Yes, sexism.
It's exactly sexism. Yep. So what did we miss? We didn't know this at the time, but Wu Zetian was likely the richest woman in the world ever. She has an estimated net worth of 15 trillion US dollars. And this is owed largely to her opening up the economy with silk and tea trade. Also, China's humongous, you guys. And it has a lot of people. And the emperor basically owned the entire country.
That's true. And just to give you like a comparison, right? Wu Zetian, when you compare her to the richest woman today, the richest woman today is L'Oreal's heiress. I'm going to take a second to pronounce this. François Benecourt Myers. Yes.
Okay.
She is L'Oreal's heiress, L'Oreal, the cosmetic brand. She currently has a net worth of USD 74 billion. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Compared to Wu Zetian's 15
Not even
trillion.
Close.
Not even close.
Not
and
even
in fact, she's the 12th richest person in the world. So her net worth is like petty cash compared to what Wu Zetian held at the time. Yeah.
Also, in 2014, there was a Chinese TV show called The Empress of China, which starred the famous Fa Bingbing as Wu herself. It was very badly rated and received a lot of flack because they were dressing the Empress in skimpy clothing. So, yeah. Is it more sexism? We don't know.
It is the same, I think.
Yeah.
Yay, it's not worse or better.
Yay, it's only been like 400 years, but still.
It's the same nonetheless. The next woman that we cover in our season was Sonu Punjaban. This is one of our most depressing episodes that we've ever done. So Sonu Punjaban was alleged to be a kingpin of the sex trafficking trade of Delhi and the NCR region for many, many years. And we don't hate on sex work, but in this case, it's truly disgusting because it's very likely that most of the women did not give consent to get into this business. And of course, they couldn't because they were minors. So in July 2020, Sonu was convicted under various provisions of the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012, or the POSCO. So she was found guilty of administering drugs forcefully to a minor girl and selling her for sexual exploitation, and also keeping her locked up and torturing her ruthlessly through this process.
She was sentenced to 24 years in prison. However, it's alleged that her gang is still out there, just keeping up her reputation and her work. And there isn't much more additionally to discuss on this case. Thank God, because I cannot be that depressed anymore.
Yeah. But there is one thing. So there's speculation that the next season of Delhi Crime might include a storyline about Sonu Punjaban. So yeah, I decided right now I'm not watching it.
Unless they make her, like they show her for what she is and like say that she was ruthless and like you need to hate on people like this, like not make it, sexy like the thing that they try to do with Dharma. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have no faith in that.
That's also fair. I guess you still want your show to do well. Oh, it's being done by Netflix, right? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, correct. Goodbye. Okay, solved. That's done. So on that note, as depressing as that was, let's maybe take a break.
Welcome back after the break. So we've covered about half the episodes that we spoke about in season 3. We have another, 6 more to go.
Yep.
And episode 7 and 8 was a special one because it's a double episode on your favorite and mine, Ma Anand Sheela.
Yay.
So, I mean, we all know Ma Anand Sheela's story, right? Like we all watched that documentary. She was the right-hand woman of Osho, the leader of the Rajneeshpuram commune that was settled in Oregon, US. So this commune started off as a peaceful local community and grew into a massive township in itself, where it had everything from schools, farms, hospitals, and even elections, maybe?
Yep, it did. And all of this went south really quickly in 1984 because of a mass poisoning of hundreds of people in a nearby town by who else than Sheela and her followers. So this resulted in her being extradited, but Sheela did not go quietly into the night. She went kicking and screaming because before she left, she casually tried to assassinate the prosecutor who was pursuing the case against her. So yeah, that's Sheela for us.
Yep. So what did we miss? Ma Anand Sheela continues to give no fucks whatsoever. In August 2022, she gave an interview where she said that the Netflix documentary Wild Wild Country's portrayal of her ended up backfiring on them. She seems to think that it has not really tarnished her image in any way, but has somehow made her a more enigmatic personality. And you know what? I kind of agree. Like, I get it. She's evil, but also she's interesting.
Sure, I guess. In terms of PR, it's a pretty great strategy to be disillusioned, I guess. I understand. But in October 2022, something weird happened. Entrepreneur India conducted a Zoom interview with her. And the reason I say it's weird is because there's a side of Sheela that I've never seen before. Like, I've seen her passionate side, but in this episode, she sort of talks about the work that she did with her old age home, the one that's in Switzerland, and how she helps people with dementia. And it's actually really nice and also very weird to see her sounding so compassionate and a non-crazy passionate version about something,
Yeah, but that's the thing with her, right? Even through the documentary, she's always like, oh, we are doing elections. We are peaceful. We are poisoning your families. Tough titties. It is still like very calm, composed, poised, all of that stuff when she talks.
When she has that calm, composed voice, she also says, we have AK-47s, like she says stuff like that. So she says it with a hint of crazy eyes, which I did see in this interview. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it was a Zoom recording. There's some filters on there.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. It's possible.
Yeah. And in fact, in that interview, she was also asked if she still loves Osho, and she responded, and we quote, I love him very much. There are no whys in love, and And it simply happens. It was a very big happening in my life, which structured me, focused me, and I'm still very focused. And I'm just like, girl, get some therapy.
That's a great place to start, Sheela. However, we won't tell you how to live your life. She is quite old. At this point, she truly is walking around with her middle fingers blazing. It's just, there's no way out of it. The next episode that we did was on Rhea Chakraborty. This was a pretty big one because around the time that our episode came out is when we found out that she was either being called in for questioning or being arrested again, one of the two.
Yes.
And the SEO worked in our favor. It's terrible to say it.
Totally.
But it did.
Not just the SEO, even our reel for that time, like we were like doing something else for the reel and we're just like, no, we're going to capitalize on this.
Yeah, that's right. Our Instagram reels really picked up that week. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So
We're
Rhea
terrible
Chakraborty,
people.
there's no denying that. That's true.
Yes.
So Rhea Chakraborty is an Indian actress whose world was flipped upside down when her rumored partner and fellow actor, Sushant Singh Rajput, committed suicide in his flat in the city of Mumbai. So post that, through a series of awful and confusing events, Rhea and her family were accused of a series of crimes by Sushant's father, including money laundering, fraud, cheating, and abetment of suicide.
And it became such a national phenomenon. The entire country was glued to their televisions all day, all night, just to watch this drama unfold, which I get, we were in the middle of a deadly global pandemic and we didn't have anything else to do. So when investigating the allegations of siphoning funds from Sushant, a few WhatsApp chats between Rhea, Sushant and other parties were uncovered. And this led to fresh investigation of the possibility of consumption and sale of illegal narcotics by Rhea and her associates.
Yep, that's right. So for a period of 2 months between August and October 2020, Rhea was called in by the NCB for questioning. Of course, she got arrested and she stayed in jail for weeks together. And on the outside, she was being ripped apart by national and state media houses constantly for crimes that we didn't even really know just yet. So yeah, overall, just a terrible situation. In October 2020, though, after a series of legal filings, Rhea was released on bail by the Bombay High Court. And the court cited that she had no criminal antecedents and was not likely to commit any crimes when on bail, which is standard for these sorts of cases.
Yes. So in March 2021, an elaborate charge sheet was filed in court detailing that Rhea and her brother were engaged in the sale, purchase, procurement, consumption, and possession of narcotics drugs. This charge sheet was filed again with the same charges in June 2022. Today, Rhea awaits the next steps in her legal battle, which we fully expect will be a long, drawn-out one. So what did we miss? Before we get into that, I must point out this one person who had commented on our YouTube page saying, you are going to discuss facts and somewhere in the middle, you listed all the rumors with your opinions on them. Yes, that's our job. That's what we do on this podcast. We're basically giving you our opinions all the time. And
welcome
also,
to our
podcast. Feel like all the rumors that we discussed, we did up top give you so these were the facts so far. Now let's get into the crazy.
Yeah, that's true. We did do that. And honestly, I mean, this is an outlier of sorts in all the comments that we got, because I think a lot of people wrote to us saying that they appreciated the timeline that we set out in this episode. And let me tell you, it was not easy. This was a tough one. Because the amount of news out there that pretends to be news, first of all, it was just so stressful. And I have never seen Nisha so annoyed in her life. Like, I very easily get riled up. But for Nisha to be like, what am I supposed to even use? For her to say that about, media publications, that means she's really gone over the deep end.
The thing is, I actually don't like Bollywood news. And I had to go through all of these things. And it was like, I don't care what movie was she want. What are you talking about? I don't care. She's in jail.
Yeah, I remember at one point she came to me and said, what is Karan Johar doing here? It was just... And I said, listen, that's not relevant. Let's skip over that for now. So we do have a kind of update, not really, but sort of. In February 2023, almost 2 years after the charge sheets were filed, a group of 6 men gave their voice samples to the NCB because these 6 men were suspected of being drug dealers that may have supplied substances to Rhea. So Rhea herself was not called in for any questioning or any inquiries by the NCB for this in particular. And actually, this is all I have. I don't know what happened after they gave the voice samples. This was just a little while ago, right? So we anticipate the case will probably take another few years to really open up, or maybe it might go nowhere. Who knows?
We'll come back to it in season 43. But there is some weird news though. I remember at the time when I was reading up all this, I felt really bad for her because she was a really young girl and she was in jail and very scared for her. I felt really bad. But it was reported in October 2022 that Rhea Chakraborty was actually kept in a special jail cell during the 2020 investigation. Which I mean, I understand she was a celebrity, so there may have been like security concerns. That's all fine. But the weird part is that the news source also claimed that Rhea spent her last day in jail dancing with the other inmate. Like, what? I don't know, like a prom, or I don't know, maybe they were reenacting Elvis's Jailhouse Rock. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you know what? It is exactly like that. You're listing exactly what that is. Yeah.
But also, apparently, she used her commissary money to buy and distribute sweets to the rest of the inmates. It could be true, but it does reek of like a terribly drafted PR story, so we're not really sure.
I don't know, but if this is the kind of story that appeals to the lowest common denominator of listeners and viewers out there who are like really judging her for what happened, I understand why they may have put out something like this, There is also some more random news about Rhea celebrating, actually she was celebrating Sushant Singh Rajput's birth anniversary. And the thing is, I would assume this is personal. I don't know why this was covered so much in the media. Also, a lot of chatter about somebody new that she's dating right now. Again, I don't know why this was so heavily covered, and it's not super relevant, so we're not going to really talk about that part of the case.
Yeah, I checked out when you said birth anniversary, seeing someone new. I don't care.
Yeah, no, it's not even about that. It's just that it must have been a very personal thing for her, right? Because
of course,
her former paramour who passed away. It's not that easy. So to bring that up and put it everywhere, I'm sure that must have been tough.
Indeed. So episode 11 was Gulabi Gang. So the Gulabi Gang is a women's rights organization that focused on social work for women in North India. It's also famous for its violent reactionary actions against people that commit crimes against women. So Gulabi Gang was founded by Sampat Pal in a distant remote village in the state of Uttar Pradesh. The village, called Banda, was one of many, many small towns that were heavily impacted by violence against women. So Sampat, along with almost 300,000 members, organized a women's movement that spread across the state of UP.
That's right. And these women call themselves the Gulabi Gang because they dressed in gulabi clothing, literally, the color of a rose, which is pink. So they used to be sort of clad themselves in pink saris and run around with bamboo sticks and other weapons, right, to protect, the powerless, not just women, anyone who could really be, on a lower scale in terms of power, and help fight abuse and fight corruption that causes women's issues. So the group's mission statement was, of course, to support and train women and to enhance their basic skills to become economically secure. And that is something we should all be fighting for, not with lathis.
Yes. Yeah, I was just going to say.
In our hearts.
Yeah. Also, can you imagine in that particular place in UP, just every fabric store running out of pink clothes?
Yeah, I anticipated that. Yes.
Yeah. So aside from protesting peacefully, in certain cases, the Gulabi Gang is notorious for taking the law into their own hands. This has included hunting down alleged perpetrators of physical or sexual violence, causing unrest amongst local populations in order to right anything that they considered wrong, and publicly shaming people they considered offenders in a manner which is bordering on defamation.
It was probably outright defamation. So there is something interesting that we actually missed in our Gulabi Gang episode. It was reported in April 2017 that one of the top missions of the Gulabi Gang in the town of Bundelkhand in Madhya Pradesh was to shut down illicit alcohol trading, which is great. I understand that. So to the point that actually they were actually being considered kind of a nuisance by the lawmakers in the state. And if lawmakers are not considering you a nuisance, are you really even rebelling? Are you? So this particular gang was led by Jyoti Patel, who at the time was 25 years old and she was pursuing an MTech degree. So she was considered one of the few educated ones in that group. And she led large groups of women to rallies in front of liquor shops and, sort of forcing them to all shut down. And they also, in the more non-violent side of it, they distributed a bunch of materials to local townsfolk, telling them about how bad, underage drinking and alcoholism can be to the community.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Women in tech.
All accurate. So yeah.
Nice. So in January 2022, Sampath Pal quit the Congress party. It appears that she was denied a ticket by the Congress party and hence decided to resign instead of working with the party in any other capacity. But Sampath need not fret because there is now an award-winning play about her called Pink Sari Revolution. The play is directed by Subha Das and is pretty much entirely based on Sampath's life.
Nice.
In February 2019, a one-off performance of the play was arranged by the British Council in association with India's National Council of Performing Arts and the Arts Council of India. So good for her.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that she got national platform almost for Gulabi Gang. I know she had some setbacks politically in the last few years, but it's important for people to focus on what she really started with, like, with in terms of her political and social work career. So I think this is really, really cool.
Yeah. And on that note, I think we should take a break because we have, I think, 2 more episodes left and they're pretty fun ones. So,
wow, maths is not my strong suit. See you guys after the break. Welcome back after the break. So we've spent the last minutes, I don't know, sort of recapping what we had spoken about in our 3rd season. And we are now in the last 2 episodes. And this chunk is pretty big because there's a hella updates for you guys.
Yeah.
Episode number 12 was a really fun one on La Llorona, who is the subject of Mexican folklore. So she is supposed to be a vengeful spirit of a woman who roams around water bodies, sort of lamenting and mourning the loss of her children. So this legend has many origins. Some say she sort of drowned her children and she laments that till today. Others say that she just kidnapped kids to replace her own that sort of died young. Multiple stories, but all come to the same point that she is a spirit that is associated with water and children.
Yeah. And La Llorona is also called the weeping woman or the wailer. She is known to wander around large water bodies in a white dress that is decayed and frayed since her origin, in a body that is still decomposing today. Like you, Raghavi, said, like there are so many versions. It's spread across Mexican, Venezuelan, Southwestern United States, even Aztec lore. So it's just insane. The treatment of La Llorona is just a bit different in each culture, and it depends on how they viewed her, as a woman, as a mother, as a spirit, or our favorite, as a killer.
Not our favorite, because that means killing children. I mean,
oh no, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, but La Llorona does have a cult status today, especially in Western pop culture, because she's featured in a lot of media. Like there's literature, there's theater, there's music, at least 13 movies that we know of, and 6 TV shows, including the masterpiece that is Riverdale.
I have to say, in under the what did we miss, the first point that we should say is the new season of Riverdale is out, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last so season, guys. Go watch it.
It's so bad.
I haven't started yet, but you know what? Screw it, I'll watch it.
Yay! So there are new adaptations of La Llorona. There's a book called The Haunting of Alejandra by V. Castro. It's about a woman who has a perfect life in Philadelphia with a husband, 3 children, a beautiful house. She is depressed, however, and a therapist finds out that women like her of Mexican heritage are possessed by the spirit of La Llorona.
Oh,
so
boy.
I guess it appears to be like a violent book because the basis of it seems to be exorcism.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, scary. So this book has been featured multiple times in the best reads of 2023, including the LA Times. And I usually stay away from scary things, so I'm not going to read that book. If you guys read it, let us know.
I was intrigued for a second, but then no, I'm okay. I'm all right. There is an adaptation that we actually missed in our episode. Oh. This is a 1961 movie and it's called The Curse of the Crying Woman. And this film is about a married couple that travels to an old country house, which is owned by the woman's aunt. And that aunt practices black magic. Of course she does. So the aunt tries to resurrect La Llorona by using her niece's body as a vessel. So, I mean, watch it if you want. Again, we're not going to even try.
Yeah. In fact, when we did the episode, we were talking about the 2019 film, right? The Curse of La Llorona. So, which is apparently, when we find out much later, that it's part of the Conjuring horror film universe. Yeah. Everything has a universe now. There's a Marvel Cinematic Universe, YRF Spy Universe.
Yeah. And the Conjuring film universe is, of course, the other one.
Yeah. And it's one that like continues to thrive.
Oh, that's good for them because I don't want to. This is so stressful. I don't want to watch any of this stuff because, as far as we know, there's at least 2 more Conjuring movies that are slated for release in 2023. In just 2023,
Oh,
and I mean, there's no confirmation whether there's a sequel to La Llorona, but I'm hoping there isn't because we can't. I don't want to do that. Sorry.
It'd be funny if like some of the other universes somehow start to mingle in, like, I don't know, the tiger Zinda Hai again, and suddenly La Llorona comes from somewhere. That would be awesome.
That sounds amazing. That I would watch just to watch Salman Khan getting like straight up, getting his ass beat by La Llorona. I would watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last episode on this season 3, was something that people requested since we started season 1 and we started with Kempamma or Cyanide Mallika because how similar the case was. But we were like, you know what? We're not going to keep typecasting women and do only like cyanide poisoning women. So we saved her for season 3. I am talking about Jolly Joseph. In October 2019, Jolly Joseph from Kudatai, a small town in Kerala, India, was arrested by local police for allegedly killing her husband, Roy Thomas. In time, it would be revealed that between 2002 to 2017, Jolly was allegedly responsible for the deaths of 6 members of her family. The victims included her parents-in-law, her husband's uncle, and her cousin-in-law's daughter and wife. Just anyone who even like remotely questioned her, like, hey, Jolly, did you do the dishes today? Come, have some soup.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened. You're not wrong about that. Yeah.
In this time, Jolly inherited money and property from her in-laws, and she also went to marry the cousin-in-law in 2017, less than a year after his wife passed away.
Yeah, this is a rough episode because the thing is, the reason all this came out into the open is because Roy Thomas's brother raised suspicion regarding the death. And finally, he approached the police and he was like, guys, you need to really investigate this. Something is going on. And then finally, the Kozhikode police was like, okay, there's a bunch of criminal complaints. We haven't listed them in the while. Let's do this again. This time, when they actually investigated it, a lot of charges were added, including death caused by, like Nisha said, administering of cyanide, which is a poison. And all of this was done particularly in the pursuit of property and love.
All is not fair in love and war.
No, it's not. Not killing. I mean, come on.
Jolly's involvement in all the cases gave way to a 12,000-page charge sheet, evidence list, and witness list to be submitted before a Kerala court. We are still awaiting the trial in this case, which is expected to begin shortly. Till then, Jolly languishes in jail, hoping that the evidence in the cases are not enough to put her away for life.
That's right.
She murdered a child.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to just start. Like, yeah, she murdered a child. So allegedly, she murdered a child. Because, and I'll tell you why, because things are not going particularly well in the investigation. Because remember how we heard that some of the deaths post that they were going to exhume the bodies of the victims and see if the cause of death was actually cyanide poisoning. That was one of the, maybe next steps that we had discussed in our episode. So bad luck there, because in February 2023, the Central Forensic Laboratory in Hyderabad failed to find traces of cyanide in the exhumed bodies of 4 of the victims. And these happen to be the bodies of Tom Thomas and Amama Thomas, who were Jolly's mother and father-in-law. And the other 2 who are Matthew, who is Jolly's uncle-in-law. And unfortunately, the 1-year-old Alfine, who was the child that was Jolly's second husband from a previous marriage. So, yeah, not good news overall.
Yeah, while this is a major setback, the police don't appear to be too worried. Special Public Prosecutor N.K. Unnikrishnan did not comment on the matter, but a senior police officer who wanted to remain anonymous said that they are confident that they still have a very strong case. The officer also stated that this result was to be expected as the murders happened many years ago, and a significant passage of time would make autopsies difficult to be conclusive. So I get it.
Okay. I mean, if the police are still pretty confident they can put together evidence for this, then that's still some silver lining, I guess. There is some good news for sure, though, because the Kerala High Court in March 2023 said that it will not interfere in the order of the sessions judge who had initially passed, an order against Jolly. And it said it would not discharge Jolly and send her out free. Basically, it appears Jolly's lawyer had argued that there was a gross injustice carried out in the case proceedings. And he said that there was very high likelihood that the victims just died of heart attacks. All of them
Come
died
on.
of heart attack.
Yes. Yeah, the child had a heart attack. Yeah, correct.
That's correct.
I mean, so, okay, all deaths are eventually cardiac arrest, right? When your heart stops working, you die. And
Accurate.
your heart stopping is about the last thing that happens. So let's take away from the intent and the motives of the criminal to say that was the conclusive reason.
Yeah, that's right. It just seems to be a really weird way of warping the facts in the case, you know? And the High Court made it quite clear that the evidence in the case is good enough to at least try Jolly in a court of law, you know, not just set her free before a trial even began. The court also noted that there was no miscarriage of justice in any manner in the Sessions Court proceedings. So they needed to really stop using that particular line of reasoning.
But you got to give it to Jolly. She is the kind of person who's just like, shoot her shot.
That's true. She got away with it for so long. So
yeah,
keep trying. I get it.
In other news, we have some interesting statistics about female murderers in Kerala. In November 2022, it was reported that the Kerala police was a bit flabbergasted over the sudden rise in women committing killings across the state. Official numbers state that 61 women were arrested in just 2021 for murder in Kerala. So making this number go up to 8% of the total number of killings in the state, which is
what? That is way above the national average of like 4 to 5% or something. Way above that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird because, I mean, it's Kerala, dude. I wouldn't expect this from that state. Or maybe they're just being reported well and, you know, investigated.
I think so. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
It could be that. An additional 26 women were also arrested in 2021 for attempt to murders. That's not part of this. But it's still a pretty significant number. And apparently the police in the state are kind of divided on why and how this is really happening. An official from the police said, and we quote, "The gap between women and men is getting narrow in the modern world. They have equal rights everywhere. This also gives them enough courage and confidence to do anything. Social media also plays a major role as it gives them easy access."
However, Manoj Abraham, a police officer and director of the State Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Bureau, said, "When we checked the last 15 years data, the involvement of women in heinous crimes is almost going in the same direction. But the fact is that some murders committed by women are easily noticed and become sensational. It is too early to say that the number is going up," which is,
I get that reasoning, that it's just portrayed more often in the media. So you feel like it's kind of out there. And yeah, I guess it's maybe what is this? It's just the last year's data, right? Usually you do like 20 years worth of research before you get to something.
Basically, what he's saying is when men kill people, the media are like, what's new? But when women do it, the media are like, aha, oh, yuck.
Yeah, I get that. I get that line of reasoning actually. And I totally buy that it's too early to tell. It could be a one-off. It could be just heightened reporting. Could be a bunch of things. So let's see. Let's come back in 20 years. Your season 43.
Season 43. One nice thing though, we did get a comment on YouTube that said from Jack Straws, who said, "Covered in depth. Left no stone unturned. Great podcast." And I was like, okay, but thanks, yeah.
That's so sweet, actually, yeah. Oh, I feel so warm.
Yeah. So I guess that brings us to the end of this episode.
That it does. And we sort of wanted to bring up something that we were thinking about. The thing is, we didn't really know before this podcast that there are so many true crime fans in India or even in Bangalore. It's something that we thought like we were into and we would do it, but then people want to know more about this stuff and sort of investigate how these things happen, what to watch out for, just generally these other things. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've covered like 2-3 YouTube comments in this episode, but we get so many DMs, comments on our Insta page of people suggesting women to cover, stuff they've come across, articles they've read. It's so awesome to have this community of miscondues or misconductors, however you'd like to identify.
Yeah, but not even just from that perspective, right? It's more along the lines of people want to know more about this content because there's terrible stuff out there, right? And what I meant to ask you, Nisha, is do you want to meet these true crime fans?
Yes, of course. We were thinking if our listeners in Bangalore are interested, we can maybe organize like a small get together for just true crime enthusiasts.
That's right. And unfortunately, it can only be in Bangalore right now because we're broke. But we can try to find like an easy to access cafe or a community center that we can use for this. That we thought it'll be fun to just sit down and have a chat on what kind of stuff you guys are coming across, and that'd be pretty fun for us to do.
Yeah, in the next few days, we'll put up a link on our Insta page at Misconduct Pod to just kind of understand general interest among you lot and what area would you like to meet at.
And if you have enough interest, we'll try to set it up.
It's not going to cost anything to enter. We're just here to like grab some coffee and chill out. That's it. It's not like a meet and greet. No.
Yeah, it's none of those things.
We just want chilling, guys.
That's right. We just want to meet people in the community and see what's out there, what kind of stuff you're listening to and watching. That'd be really good, for us to just understand what else out there and what the community is looking up at right now.
So please do reach out to us on our Instagram handle at Misconduct Pod, and we'll definitely respond and plan something out.
That's right. And otherwise, also please engage with us on Instagram. We love when you folks talk to us. It's honestly, it really pumps us to be able to do more research, because we feel, we have to cover all our bases and make sure you get really accurate information. So it really helps us, folks, really motivates us. So please keep engaging with us.
Something else that motivates us is you leaving reviews on Spotify, Amazon. Where else can you leave reviews? YouTube. Put your comments there. Audible? I don't know. We'll track it, please.
Audible as well. That's right. Please leave reviews wherever you can. That also really helps push our engagement overall. And of course, it's so nice to see when you look up yourself on Spotify and you're like, wow, so many people genuinely like us, and that's really awesome. So please keep doing that.
Actually, our rating on Spotify is 4.7 now. So there are some of you who've left like 1 or 2 stars, and I will find you.
Wow, Nisha, I can't. Just that was an empty threat. It was an empty threat. It wasn't even a threat. Nope.
That's why we're doing the meet. No, I'm kidding. All right, and we will see you on the next episode of Misconduct.
Yay.
Yay.